At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. It meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farm. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
What's up, ADOS and our allies? You know who it is, Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Friends of ADOS TV channel, bringing you those ADOS hot topics and making the case for reparations and a protest vote. Yes, family, a protest vote. And we're going to dig in and talk about why it's necessary, even with a Trump's platinum plan. Should ADOS sit down and advise Trump about the reparations, since he wants to at least come up with a plan, right, family? I think it's an opportunity. I really, really do. I don't understand why we take the position of most of Black America and choose not to have a conversation with the president. Did Abe Lincoln, who was a Republican, not be impressed upon, really tough by the ancestors to give us our emancipation? Wasn't it LBJ, a Republican, that gave us access to the toilets and to the water fountains and to the schools and civil rights? So why not Trump? He's making a tip. He's coming for that black vote. He sees how neglectful the Democrats have been to the ADOS. Well, I don't know if he knows about us, because if he knew about us, he wouldn't be talking about loans. But we're going to get into it, family. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We're going to dissect this platinum plan from the rooter to the tutor. You and me, family. You and me. Okay? I'm going to be reading it for the first time. What's up, Robin Felix? Thank you for joining the live. Coyote Phillips, thank you for joining the live. Marjorie Melvin, thank you for joining the live. BT, what's up with your fam? Donna Michelle, thank you for joining the live. Taj Marie, thank you for joining the live. William Dickens, what's up, family? Thank you all for joining the live. For those of you who are in the chat, those I can't see, what's up, Periscope, Twitter? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? Thank you so much for choosing to spend an hour of your time with me this Friday going over Trump's platinum plan. It became a hot topic when one of my comrades out of the DMV hit me up with a text. What do you think, family? Well, I think we're going to decide what we think, but I'm not feeling no loans when you owe us in the trillions over multi-generations. And folks are like tagging me all up and down my feed. Angela, Trump look like he want to do something, family. Y'all need to talk to him. And I don't see why we should not play both sides against the middle. That's how I feel. Now, I do negotiations for a living. And so I'm saying, if the Democrats, whom we've been the mules of for 60 years, are no to tangibles in exchange for our vote, why not sit down with Trump? We don't have to take the position of the niggerati over in the CBC who refuses to have a conversation while all the other groups get hit off, okay? While all the other groups take a piece of the farm. By the time you do all that out, your excuse will be we spent it all. While we're sitting up here choosing not to have a conversation with Trump. I think we're missing an opportunity because he's got some things in the platinum plan, and we're going to get to decide on this show if it's worth anything. But for me, what it says loud and clear is that he is open. And that sounds like an opportunity. Whether he delivers or not, because we know he's a liar. But the bottom line is, it's sure enough more robust than I'm not doing anything specifically for Black folks. No. Interesting how he has capitalized on the Democrat smugness because the ADOS, the lineage, has made it clear that they will continue to be the mules to unseat a man we had no part in putting into office. Always going behind these white folks, cleaning up their mess with the only commodity we've got, our vote. And they expect the same. That's why they're not offering anything in exchange for the vote. They've never had to. But that ADOS movement, well, that's a whole nother Oprah. We are not the boomers and Gen Xers and millennials of yesteryear. We do not ascribe to the lesser of two evil two-step shuffle all the way to our peril, all the way to George Floyd 846, all the way to Breonna Taylor, all the way to Jacob Blake. That's not our square. And I see the sheeple begging us to get off of our protest strategy, but I say lean in, ADOS. It is time to break the back of the establishment. America must fall as we know it. It clearly isn't working for the ADOS, who built all of the wealth in this country that all the other groups, white folks and immigrants alike, eat from. It is time to stand down and stand up so the game will be over. That's what we're here to do. And we don't need permission to do it. You can choose to sleepwalk to the polls to make Trump your boogeyman, but I got some news for you. We've been suffering since before they brought us over here in chains. Because the Spaniards owned us first in this country. Okay? And I'm going to be digging more into that as I learn more about it. My own daughter came in asking me about the Spaniards who owned the Africans long before like early 1400s or something. Somebody told me all the way back to 600. I don't know. I've got research to do. That's not this show. But I'm here to tell you they all eaten while we are on the bottom. We have a $100 trillion egregious racial wealth gap to close. We're not doing that alone, Sir Trump. We're not doing that alone. You will not lend us our reparations, okay? But you can run us that check in the trillions over multi-generations. And I think we need to bully our way into a seat at that table to get Trump's attention. Why not? The Democrats have clearly given us their ass to kiss this election cycle. And I say we lean in on our protest strategy, delivering whatever. If Trump takes the top of the ticket and a Democratic Congress, we can shut government down until the Democrats do right by the ADOS. Nobody's got time for this nonsense they are on. We're not doing it. We're not playing the games. No, this is where that stops. Because the definition of insanity, family, is to continue to do the same thing, expecting different results. So let's dig in because we've got a couple of dead presidents to go over. So let's looky here. Okay, let's looky here at this article by NPR about Trump's platinum plan. Oh, Sugarfoot family, just give me a second. The article just came and went off my phone. Hold on. We want to read into this and we want to dig into what, in fact, he is offering. Hold on one second. Let me go right to the plan. Hold on. We're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb together and figure out if there's anything to see here. And I'm going to analyze why it's pandering for the vote. Not much to see, but let's talk about it. Okay. I need my glasses for this one, y'all. Print is very fine. Okay. The Platinum Plan. President Trump's pillars. Opportunity by achieving historic employment levels for Black Americans, as well as increasing access to capital for new business, President Trump has been committed to ensuring all Black Americans can achieve the American dream. Security. By signing into law the celebrated First Step Act, President Trump has brought common sense criminal justice reform to the American people for the first time in decades, while ensuring that our streets and communities are safe for families and business owners. We shall see. Prosperity. As the first president to provide long-term funding to historically Black colleges and universities, this administration continues to seek immediate and generational advancement for Black Americans. Fairness. As demonstrated through his actions to initiate investment into opportunity zones, as well as address health disparities, wage gaps, and necessary education reforms, President Trump works every day to advance a fair and just America for the Black community. These are his pillars, okay, family? So let's keep reading because I've got some comments. Okay, his promise is President Trump's promise to Black America over the next 4 years. He's got a timeline, unlike the Democrats. They've got timelines for everybody and tangibles for everybody but the ADOS, who's only been demanding them for a few years now. I digress. Increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion. 3 million new jobs for the Black community, creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion, safe urban neighborhoods with highest policing standards, commit to working on a Second Step Act, access to better education and job training opportunities, give Black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community, bring better and tailored health care to address historic disparities, immigration policy that protects American jobs, advance home ownership opportunities and enhance financial literacy in the Black community, onshoring manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for Black-owned businesses. Moving on. You guys can type your comments in the way you see it, okay, in the chat, and I will get to your chat and leave a few minutes after we do this to discuss what you're sharing in the chat and comment on your chats and express them. Black economic empower and access to capital. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Reach even greater levels of historic employment and wage growth for the Black community set in 2019 so that anyone looking for a job gets one. Stop me speaking. What jobs is he referring to, family, in 2019? Historic employment and wage growth for the Black community. Now, this is disingenuous because all of us know that we have the highest rates of unemployment and they are even more off the charts and off the chain since COVID. You've got now about 60 million or more people laid off throughout the country. ADOS was hardest hit in that. So to sit up here and say that the employment numbers were historic in 2019, you're being disingenuous because it's never been historic for ADOS. ADOS, even friends of mine, even myself, have worked a gig job when COVID swept through. It sent everything in a tailspin. It totally shut the courts down. And these mortgage lenders, yes, they would furlough and give me a break on the mortgage, but within 3 months and no job security, they said I have to give them all of that forbearance back at one time. How do you do that with no income? So you have to understand ADOS and politics to understand that he is blowing smoke. There were no records set in 2019. When you drill down in these numbers, these employment numbers don't include people who aren't even looking anymore. Okay? They don't do that. So these numbers are skewed and cannot be leveraged to assess how well or how poorly ADOS is doing. Gig jobs don't count. Okay? Because you have to work a few of those gig jobs just to make a living. And I know quite a few, ADOS, myself included, who once COVID hit this year, had to go out and do something extra. I did Instacart down here. And I thank God for the gig job when no money was coming through, as my mortgage company was talking crazy to me about giving me a forbearance and wanting a balloon payment in 3 months. With what? And I'm not clocking the same income I once did while working in the courts. Don't fall for the tricks, family. This is a nothing burger right here. We have the highest rates of unemployment pre-COVID and post-COVID. White high school dropouts are more gainfully employed than college-degreed ADOS. So, no, this is all wrong. Don't fall for it. Number 2, seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. Okay, I like that. I like that. That's going in the direction of something very positive, because the immigrants and the white folks have pushed us out of contracts. So the fact that he's talking about seeking infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities, we need this to be more specific to ADOS. We don't need black. We don't need a flattening of blackness. I've already shared with you guys from the Color of Wealth LA, and I'm not going to go through all the numbers. Look at the prior shows. That here in Los Angeles, ADOS is $200 liquid, 44% of the educated, 6% of the population, and 6% of the private sector. To African immigrants, $60,000 liquid. To Kamala's people, Asian Indians, $245,000 liquid. So if you're talking about infrastructure funding and you don't specifically put ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, this is another opportunity for it to be lost in the sauce of minorities and people of color. We need real specifics. We need real specifics, and we need instruction as to where to go to be specifically remedied in contracting. Okay? Grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment. I hate that word minority. We are not minority. We are not people of color. We are not even African American. That's Barack Obama, right? King and dad, white mama, descended from slave owners. We're not black. That's too many people in skin color, right? Kamala, Indian Jamaican, Brahmin Indian caste, not ADOS. We don't like these words. We need specific American descendants of slavery. We don't want any type of minority, because white women became minority when it came to our affirmative action, right? Immigrants became minority when it came to our affirmative action, right? LGBTQXYZ became minority when it came to affirmative action, right? And who benefits the least from the affirmative action intended to make us whole post-slavery? The ADOS. Nothing to see here. Encourage onshoring and development of domestic manufacturing to increase supply chain business development and employment. Cute, once again, lacking in specificity. This is the easiest way for them to give it to a white woman to run, give it to an immigrant to run, give it to an LGBTQ to run. Increase activity in opportunity zones, including benefits for local hires. Stop right there. These opportunity zones are an opportunity for the upper crust of Blacks to come in and dominate and then resell it to white folks to gentrify our communities. These are not opportunities for lay people, working class people. So don't believe the hype about these opportunity zones. Look it up to see who under 100,000 a year has been advantaged by an opportunity zone. It's an opportunity to take over your community and gentrify you out of your communities. That's what these opportunity zones are. Increase activity. Okay, next. Invest almost $20 billion toward broadband and internet access to create job opportunities, improve classroom connectivity, and the ability to utilize telehealth services. Yeah, that's really, really great. I do like that. We need that. We need that. It needs to be free for those of us who have no wealth, for the wealthless class who built the country and all the wealth in it. All of this should be free. Once again, ADOS. And perhaps that's what we need to do, ADOS, is go through here with a fine tooth, improve upon it, and send it back to him. That's a good idea. Now, that is something we should tweet since we've got his attention. Like I said, as compared to the Democrats, they told us they're not doing anything specifically for us and that nothing would fundamentally change, but they want your vote. Okay, fueling access to capital for Black-owned businesses. Increase opportunities for small business lending and technical assistance through community development financial institutions in order to grow business and create generational wealth opportunities with over $400 billion in lending. That's a problem. You owe us trillions, boo-boo. You guys share $100 trillion to our 90% of Blacks in this country. ADOS shares $700 billion. Less than that since COVID, okay? You're not lending us a thing. We want you to run us those reparations. That's how we create generational inheritable wealth opportunities with reparations. This little $400 billion does not close a $100 trillion egregious racial wealth gap. That would be an absolutely not. That needs an edit. Examine alternative ways to build credit, including rent, utilities, and phone bills. Run me my check. I worry about my credit. I can fix my credit when you run me my trillions over multi-generations. I don't need to build credit with you in this way. Okay. That's cute. And you know, that could probably work until we get the reparations established. That might actually help a few of us, you know, to be able to build credit through your rent and utilities and your phone bills. That might actually be a way to build credit because, see, they use your credit score against you when you go to rent an apartment. Okay, so we do need other channels to build credit since everything is credit based in this country. Okay, make the Minority Business Development Agency permanent. Appoint its leader to the Assistant Secretary of Commerce level. Create a sub-office of African American Affairs and engage with private sector advisors to ensure real-world plans and solutions. I want grassroots. Make the Minority Business Development Agency permanent. Minority, hate the word, ADOS. This is where we need to be working on these edits, family, and kicking it back to him right away. That needs to be ADOS. No, minority is like cussing us out. We have come very fully aware of the minority trick bag, the African-American trick bag, the Black trick bag, the people of color, POC, BIPOC trick bags. We want ADOS all up and down through cheer. Okay? So make the Minority Business Development Agency permanent. Appoint its leader to the Assistant Secretary of Commerce level. Must be an ADOS. For ADOS, it's not enough to be from my lineage, which matters, and still be doing the work of the white oppressors. We want to vet people. We need to vet everyone that has a hand in how our reparations is doled out to us. Okay. They need to come from grassroots organizations like the ADOS movement is what needs to happen. Dr. William Sandy Darity, I would trust him. Okay. But I don't trust all this other stuff out right here. These are opportunities for white folks to take it over and make it for everybody else and tell you, see, we did. Oh no, we're not falling for that. Create a sub-office of African-American affairs, African-American, Barack Obama, Kenyan, and white, descendant of slave owners. And we see the nothing burger we got from him while placing him in office for 8 years. Nope, I don't like African-American ADOS. And engage with private sector advisors to ensure real-world plans and solutions. No, private sector, I already told you down here, we're 44% degreed and 6% of the private sector. Who are they turning to in the private sector when they're not hiring us? We have no affirmative action to guarantee we get employment. They are free to discriminate against us ad nauseum. That's a nothing burger. Increase the number of Black-owned, hold on. Gotta scroll up. Oh, Lord. Okay. Increase the number of Black-owned contracting businesses, financial services entities, and private equity investment funds through regulatory reform and up to $40 billion in government funding alongside traditional private investment. These kind of things scare me. Black-owned with white money. $40 billion in government funding. I have a hard time with this kind of stuff. It sounds good, but in the end, if they don't specifically say that we're in charge of it, it could be black on the front, on the surface, and white run and operated. Hello, Freedmen's Bureau Bank. I don't trust them since the Freedmen's Bureau Bank. I don't. Advanced lending relationships with financial institutions, particularly those businesses who weren't able to participate in the PPP. Is this not a joke? We weren't able to participate in the PPP because Kamala Harris refused to prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who is now the National Treasury Secretary. If you don't know, he wrongfully foreclosed on black homes in the Bay. And she was the AG at the time, and he gave her $11 measly thousand for her senatorial race, and she refused to prosecute. So of course he's in charge of the PPP and all the monies that were being distributed for the COVID and gave it to the billionaires and bailed out the stock market, which is falsely propped up and doesn't give you any indication of how dreadful and dire the economy is doing because it's propped up. They got paid twice. They took those monies and bought back their shares. That's why the stocks are through the roof. That dollar gonna crash because we still ain't back to work. So advanced lending relationships, financial institutions, particularly those businesses who weren't able to participate in the PPP. You know, unless you have some regulations in there that they must lend, which we're not here for loans. We don't need loans. We need the reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. This lending, you're lending us the reparations we're due. We don't want it. We want the reparations. That's what we want. So that's a nothing burger. Weren't able to participate in the PPP. They know what they did with that. They hijacked it. Okay, moving on. Better and cheaper health care. Affordable care you can trust. Reduce cost and improve access to quality health care through HRSA. Why should we have to pay for health care at all? I don't understand. You build the wealth of this country on the backs of ADOS and you want us to pay and you want to lend? Even in our COVID plan, we were asking for health care commensurate with what the federal government has for itself. That is what we're owed, and that's what we're due. Reduce cost with what money? How is a wealthless group supposed to pay for health care? That's a nothing burger, okay? Deliver real price transparency so you know the cost before care is received. Once again, ADOS should not have to pay for education. They should not have to pay taxes. They should not have to pay health care. And they should be given the reparations check to buy their homes and establish their businesses. We don't need white folks or immigrants doing that for us. We're very educated and very capable of doing that for ourselves. Opportunity to be in charge of your own healthcare and choose your own doctor. Oh yeah, we should absolutely be able to choose our own doctors because this crap you give us for free is just that. I remember trying to, when I was lagging in employment, trying to get healthcare down here. The 2 quality doctors out of the 100 on one of the plans was already to capacity. You literally need a PPO so you can select your doctors and go when you damn well please and be able to see the best of physicians if you come up against a health crisis. So I have to pay for a PPO rather. Okay? Because these doctors, the free ones suck. My nephew, God bless him, he got to see his 31st birthday. He had insurance. He's a teacher in Ohio. My sister took him to the doctor because he was exhibiting COVID symptoms. He went to the doctor on the black side of town. They refused to give him a test till she jumped up and down. They finally gave him a test and it came back positive. Guess what they did with a positive COVID patient? After my sister beat on their chest like an orangutan, they sent him home to self-quarantine for 14 days. When he got progressively worse, my sister drove him to the white side of town. They hospitalized him immediately, okay? And then they gave him 5 days. They administered remdesivir, $5,000 a shot, $25,000. So, yeah, it's good that we be able to choose our doctors and not have any restrictions. We should be able to afford the white kind of care. We shouldn't have to go all the way on the white side of town to get it. But they will let you die even with insurance on the black side of town. That's why so many of us are dying disproportionately from COVID, because we have inferior everything. Food deserts and inferior health care. And lead in the water. We've been redlined into environmentally hazardous neighborhoods and buildings. Eliminate long-standing healthcare disparities. With free federal healthcare akin to the kind of care you have, Trump, yes, we can do that. Investments into the causes and cure of kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, sickle cell disease, maternal mortality, and other diseases that disproportionately affect African American populations. How about some resources? How about the best in education? Public. Instead of taking all the money from the black and brown public schools and pouring them into the white public schools. How about opportunities to make an American wage? You know, the kind that can afford us the $300,000 homes. You know, free education, free college. How about federal jobs guarantee? Federal health care. How about run us that check so we can open up businesses and work one unto another like we used to before you burn down all of our businesses, all of our Wall Streets, about 50 in total throughout the country every time we tried to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps. Moving on. Almost finished, family. Then we can get to the reading. I can pray you out. This is important. You have to understand the games they're playing. Well, I don't know. Like I said, this is much more robust, and I'm not doing anything specifically for you. I say we put in these edits and run this back to him quickly for his consideration, including our reparations, and bypass all of this Sheila Jackson Lee having control over HR 40 but won't take our edits. Because she and Cobra and NARC are trying to include all blacks in this country when all blacks don't descend from chattel slavery, and I don't get a dime of CARICOM. Not that there's any money in it, which is probably why she's trying to crowbar their way into our reparations, because we're demanding money. But the current HR 40 is very flawed. We did a show about that, so you can check that out in the archives, okay? But yeah, they need to run us these reparations checks, and I'm saying I think we may have a more willing ear than that of the Democrats. They've known this for a while. They're playing games. Trump, this stuff is kind of, empty and needs some specificity, but at least it's a robust plan. It beats a zero. It beats a nothing burger. How about that? Okay. Increase access to telemedicine and innovate technologies to empower patients with flexibility and tools for better health. That's what I get for it with a PPO. The top of the line. Top of the line. Top test. You hear me? Top flight. You go in there, they got chandeliers and carrying on, and chaise lounges and flat screen televisions in the doctors I go to. Every ADOS deserves to be treated in that manner. Had a women's wellness exam. They had the highest and the best and the state-of-the-art equipment to run all of my tests, my blood work and everything, and said, I am functioning like a woman 20 years younger than my age. Do you hear me? Because they've got all the high end to tell you all about yourself. That is what every ADOS has more than earned. Do you hear me? Take care of your temples, family. Take care of your temples, but I'm just saying, state of the art. They'll call you, they pamper you. That's what we deserve. Public-private partnership to develop healthcare facilities in low-income areas. Public-private partnership to develop healthcare facilities in low-income areas. If you privatize in anything, you're talking about raping the black community off of their health issues. I don't believe in the privatization of all this. That's what's happening with the prisons right now. That's why we have a new form of slavery. It's called private prison industrial complex. Be careful about that word privatize. See, this is why you have to read with a fine-tooth comb, family. You got to read the words. Defend religious freedom, exemptions to respect religious believers, and always protect life. I don't know how to feel about that. There's lots of these militias running around here wreaking hell and havoc on ADOS in the name of Jesus, okay? I don't know. That needs more specificity for me. Safety and justice, safe streets, continue to make historic improvements to the criminal justice system through common sense actions like the First Step Act, including increased use of drug rehabilitation versus drug incarceration. It only took for your white folks to have an opioid epidemic for you to get to this. I don't see anywhere in here where you are freeing the brothers on lockdown for peddling weed while the states turn a profit, plant the weed cannabis shops in our communities, and don't allow these brothers who are ex-felons to have a piece of that action, to have a piece of those profits. This needs some edits. Yes, this needs some edits, because that's what you're really talking about, doing something for real, for real. This other stuff, you playing, because as long as they're incarcerated and y'all turn a profit, you playing with this here. Now you want to rehab them. Their lives are wrecked. They can't get jobs. They're ex-felons. Where's that plan? Let me keep reading. Maybe it's in here. I'm reading this for the first time with y'all, hot off the press. Oh, hello, everybody that's joined. I'm going to get to your comments. I love y'all black and strong. Hang in there with me. Hang in. Announce a national clemency program to unite families and invest in human potential, focusing on wrongful prosecution and rehabilitation. I guess that could be really good. I have to find the flaws in that. Restore safety to Americans' great cities by working with police departments. Here we damn go. Community leaders and mental health professionals to install the most responsive, professional, and accountable models of policing, including diversity training and accreditation standards. Are you for real right now? So these white race soldiers know not to murder and execute white folks, but they somehow lose that ability and need training on how not to execute black folks in their homes while jogging, while breaking up fights, while selling Lucy's. You're not serious. If you are not talking about dismantling private prisons and down with qualified immunity, you're not serious about reform. We have close to 1 million black men enslaved, some of which belong there. I'm not speaking on them. I'm speaking about the nonviolent offenders who are in there on lockdown for peddling weed or had a crack addiction and got thrown in there, couldn't afford to bail, okay? Couldn't afford the right prosecutors to help them in their cases, right defense, I'm sorry. Okay, they're in there. Hello, Khalif Browder, rest in paradise. This young man went to a party with his friends, was accused of stealing a backpack. They sent him to Rikers, I think it was, a high maximum security prison, teenager. And because they kept bothering that baby, they had to put him into solitary confinement for 2 years. After we demanded his release, put all that pressure on them to release him, he ultimately commits suicide. So don't come to me with this dumb stuff about policing our communities. We are over-policed in our communities. How about you put resources in our communities? How about there wouldn't be any black-on-black crimes and murders if you paid ADOS an American wage? I'm not talking $15 an hour when the cost of living is 6 figures a year. Then I would believe you. But right now, you're blowing smoke and you're pandering, Trump. I see you, but I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to run you them edits. That I'm willing to do because at least you're trying to have a conversation. Let's finish moving on. Yeah, restore safety to America's great cities. No, bring education, bring jobs, bring homes, bring businesses, ours. Not the immigrants owning in our communities and disrespecting us the whole while. Not the race soldiers who are part of the white supremacist KKK with a badge. The FBI already told you white supremacy is all up and down, through and through. The police departments all throughout the country. You put those race soldiers over in our areas. We don't want them. We want resources. Pull them out. Give our people something to live for. They paid for it with their lives. We don't want this token gesture nonsense you want. Okay, family, just a second. Okay, let's go to, oh, did I finish? I think I'm done, family. Yeah, it looks done. Wait. I think I have another part. Yes, I do. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let's do this part and then we're done. Prosperous Black communities. Oh, here's one. Advanced second chance hiring to get rehabilitated citizens with a criminal record back on the job. Okay, that's hinting around where we need to be. But I want to know what your plan is to restore those that you decimated who to this day have been impacted by the legislation that was weaponized against them as ex-felons to render many of them back into the private prison systems because they couldn't get work. You didn't do that to white folks. They got the social capital to get to work after they come out of jail. So I want to know, how are you going to make them whole? The only way to do that is to run them their reparations check. Prosperous Black communities champion federal policy reforms to advance home ownership initiatives. Once again, run us our checks in the trillions over multi-generations. We can buy our own homes. We don't need to be federally dependent. Y'all don't want us dependent on government for nothing. Run us the checks so we don't have to be. Partner with local leaders in Black communities to ensure maximum federal support for neighborhood revitalization. Don't you put nothing in the hands of Sharpton and the like. I don't need them managing nothing. Don't you dare give the niggerati boule anything relative to my check. Run me my check. You already got my bank account on record because you ran me the stimulus. So I'm going to need you to leave the niggerati boule out of my business with my reparations for me and my child and my family. I don't need none of these niggas in charge of nothing concerning ADOS. Let us run our own stuff. That's what you do. Leave them out. These are the same sellouts that won't even have a conversation with you now about the dire needs of ADOS while everybody else gets a piece of the action because they're paid to do the Democrats' bidding. They're not here for us to make us whole. So never mind. Oh, make Juneteenth a national holiday. Now that I love. Prosecute the KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations and make lynching a national hate crime. Now that I absolutely love, Trump. That I absolutely love. Wow. That's pretty huge. Fuel Black farmers and access to healthy foods to address food disparities. I like that. I like that, family. I like that. Favorable trade deals to bring back manufacturing jobs and help Black contractors, farmers, inventors, and consumers. I like it. Defend religious liberty in African-American churches that lift the conscience of our nation. I like it. Collaborate with cities and counties to address mental illness and substance abuse. Well. I kind of like the prosperous Black communities portion. Let's see what y'all thinking, family. Let's go up to the comments. Okay, I kind of like that last part, y'all. I kind of like that last part. It's more than what the Democrats are offering. That's what I can tell you. I've not seen anything this robust on Biden's platform. Nothing like this is not even the ballpark. Okay, let's dig. Marjorie Melvin, welcome to the line. Hey, Angela, hope that you are well. Saw you this week on the show with Ted Hayes. You all were amazing. Oh, thank you, my love. Oh, I love that Ted Hayes. He is fire. I was honored to be on the 13%. We got one of the co-hosts in here now in the chat. I can't wait to see what she had to say. She's so brilliant and beautiful. Cynthia McDonald, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Welcome, Coyote, Taj Marie, BT, William Dickens. Hello, ADOS family. Twin City ADOS, North Carolina in the house. Oh, we love William Dickens, honey. He is always fire. Check him out on Facebook. I think YouTube too. BT, absolutely, Angela. Yes, they do owe us. Trump is open because it's election time. Well, let's take advantage. He more open than the Democrats who said they ain't doing nothing for us. Y'all better open your mouth. A closed mouth don't get fed, sugars. I'm about to work on these edits with some of my more esteemed colleagues and comrades in this movement. I want to run these edits to Trump. Yes, I do. Hey, he's always on Twitter. Surely he'll get them. In here, Sister Adrian. What's up? Welcome to the live. Herbert Venable, Democrats. No. Let me explain. We're not doing the lesser of two evil two-step shuffle all the way to our extinction. Sorry, Herbert. That will be a no. Now, we will give you a Democratic Congress because we're making moves within the ADOS movement to groom people to take over the seats. You know, the ones who aren't doing a thing to push forward our agenda. I mentioned prior about Sheila Jackson Lee over our HR 40 and refusing to include our edits, refusing to include us at the table. It's our repair, and you allow Narcan and Cobra to co-opt it to give our reparations to all Blacks in this country. And hardly any money in it. You want to do to us what CARICOM is doing to the Caribbean. And we're not having any of that as ADOS over here. We want the reparations that are due us in the trillions over multi-generations. Okay? I don't know how to say it. Since I just read the plan. That's Cynthia McDonald, y'all. 13% is in the house. I told y'all. I got comments too. I love it. Cynthia, if you want to call in and chime in, you are free to call in, or I can sit. I don't even know if I can invite you at this point, girl. I'm not that fancy. I might. Yes, I can invite you, Cynthia. If you don't have your bonnet on, I know it's East Coast, but I can bring you in here. We can talk about it. Let me know. You can ring my phone and I can send you a link. You know how to reach me, sis. This is Cynthia McDonald, ADOS Chicago. The 13% is her show with Arthur Ward. DeAndre, welcome to the live. Donna, Damali, welcome to the live. LBJ was a Democrat. Oh, he was? I thought King got civil rights from a Republican. Okay, I'm reading through Presidential. We haven't gotten to LBJ, so my bad if he was Democrat. I thought he was Republican. Okay, what is the quality of the jobs he's promising, says Cynthia McDonald. Absolutely. Absolutely. If there are more gig jobs, no thank you. We got enough of that under Obama. This is very true. Trump is a liar. Yeah, he lies, but guess what? He's pandering for the vote. Okay? Democrats ain't even lying to you. They don't even care about your vote other than to unseat Trump. They got y'all more afraid of Trump. Instead of socializing this, what's the word I'm looking for? Socializing our oppression. Let me tell you something. Either party get a trifecta, it's over. Meaning top of ticket in the Congress. If the Republicans get it down, or if Democrats get it from the top down, we are done as ADOS. They are going to open up these borders to 11 million more Hispanics to give them a pathway to citizenship before making us American. That is going to break the back of the taxes over here while we have to take care of them and give them set-asides and give them health care, all the things that we lack in our communities. But that's what I like about Trump. I do like the fact that he is really about making America first. He's not really on all this immigration and opening up borders and carrying on the way the Democrats are. Right now, we're sitting at 56 million Hispanics to ADOS 35 million. This will be the last election cycle a protest vote will even matter. They are quickly pandering and schooling the Hispanics on how to vote. They want that Latin vote. They're not thinking about you because they know what to expect from you. They know that you're the lesser of two evil two-step live crew, okay? So they don't have to offer you anything. That's why we're in the dire straits we're in today, because we continue to put out their fires every election cycle instead of demanding tangibles in exchange for our vote. Not the ADOS movement. They're all liars, KOD. Cynthia McDonald, he also said this: increased activity in opportunity zones, including benefits for local hires. Opportunity zones have never been good for ADOS. You got that right, my sister. She also says this part right here: grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment. Still not specific. This is our opportunity. What's up, Joe Hankins? And we ain't BIPOC. Amen, she says. Okay, what about reparations? No mention of this. Absolutely, Herbert. You're catching on. Cynthia McDonald, I will give him this in the plan. He didn't say people of color. Amen. Isn't that progress? Don't the Democrats love that people of color nonsense? To flatten everything and to give it all away? We know the tricks now. We see right through y'all. BT says, where those funds are being allocated to. If it's not specifically allocated to us, it's no good. Absolutely. Shanna Kim, welcome to the live, written for ADOS, but the least benefited post JFK. Absolutely. That's it. The affirmative action was written for ADOS, but we benefit from it the least. The boomers who are running out in droves to vote Biden-Harris instead of joining us in this protest are the ones who are comfy and cozy off of those affirmative actions. That's about as long as it lasted. I border boomer, so I got a little bit of that, but I too have felt the brunt of racism down here. I share with you guys about me and Wells Fargo. when the current CEO came for us in the NBC News talking about the reason why they're not more diverse is because they don't have enough talent in the black pool to choose from. Okay. So that's the reason why I fight. Because with all of my education and all of my job experience across industries, I too fell prey to racism down here in the hiring practices. Okay. Jacaranda Williams, thank you for joining the live. Wow, thanks for the clarity. Absolutely. Cynthia McDonald, opportunity zones never been opportunities for black folks. You better know it, sister. Gentrified out of your neighborhood is the plan for the opportunity zone. That's why you see celebrities on all that nonsense. Okay? They'll sit up here and suppress your vote on the Democratic side while they go vote for Trump. He protects their money. They're gaming you. If you're not getting your information from the ADOS movement, you are being put in a trick bag, honey. Don't be following them fools. We need to deliver a Democratic Congress. If Trump gets the top of the ticket, look at that. We gridlock, shut it down for the next 4 years. Can't much get accomplished with them hugging it out. And we need to wash, rinse, repeat until they run those reparations. Always have a mixed bag up in there. That is the strategy here. So I'm encouraging all of you to listen. There are write-in states that you can risk putting the ADOS on there, but with as many ballots that they have found in the back alleys and carrying on, I would not risk having my vote, thrown into the back of a truck and not be counted. We need every ADOS vote to count this election cycle. Every last one. We need you to show up to the polls in Obama-style numbers. Okay? Don't play around with this. Do not play around with this vote, this election cycle. I am voting Green Party at the top of the ticket because they're offering reparations and they've got beautiful Angela Walker, VP, running on the VP ticket. She is pure ADOS, not pretending under a skiwi or a bison. Okay? While being white in India. That is what Brahmin caste is. You're white. I would be considered a Dalit. So would the rest of ADOS, which is the untouchables. Okay? So, no, this is a real ADOS truck driver, okay, and single mother running on the VP ticket with Howie Hawkins, who's an environmentalist. Y'all need to check them out at gp.org. Speaking of which, this came to mind. Tamara Johnson-Shealy, okay, Obama has just endorsed Minister Warnock. Family, we need y'all to lean in hard. We need you to donate, support, volunteer. Visit tamaraforgeorgia.com, tamaraforgeorgia.com. I will write it when I get another window. I'm almost on my hour, and I still have my 2 dead presidents, which will take another 20 minutes. So let me get through the comments. Melanated Integrity, thank you for joining the live. That's right, friends of ADOS TV. It's all in the words. Dissect that bull. Absolutely, family. We have got to become readers, family. I mean, I believe a lot of the ADOS movement are readers. We're highly educated. You can't get much by us, okay? We're going to look at every word and dissect it. Now, I didn't do a full dissect because I'm reading it for the first time with the rest of you all. Been out running around for my job and things, but I had to bring it to you hot off the press. And I think we did a pretty good job at a bird's eye view. But I feel that if we put these edits in here and get it back to Trump, we may have a real opportunity here to get some things done, okay? I'm not giving a Republican Congress. We see what the Supreme Court is doing to us. And we need time with that Democratic Congress so we can groom the people on the ground in the movement to, like Tamara Johnson-Shealy, she's running for U.S. Senate, Georgia. We need 100 of her. So we got 2 years to get that done. If we gridlock government, their seats are coming up in 2 years. That is our time to replace them, family, okay? BT, upper echelon, always gets benefits to help those that have wealth. Nothing for ADOS. You better believe it. This is why we need to be in complete control of it. We don't want the upper crust to have nothing to do with this. We want grassroots. We need Dr. William Solidarity for sure. Joe Hankins, tell the truth. They have no real program agenda for or reparations for ADOS. Yep, tweet and return. I bet they never thought they'd hear anything. Okay? Oh yeah, it's time for us to get those edits in, family. All my geniuses, we need to really come up with a Zoom and bang these edits out. We got to call Dawn Page. That girl is a wizard on those kinds of things. I love her. That's Triangle ADOS and CBAC, Concerned Black American Citizens, PT. Preferably grants, sis. Okay, grants, that's cool. I'm talking free. Federal grants will work. But all this loans, oh no. You're not going to lend our reparations to us. That's not happening. Cynthia says, this plan definitely does not close the racial wealth gap. Not even a fraction. 40 billion to 100 trillion? Boy, get out of here. We're going to get them together or not. Actually, that is not a bad idea to help with credit. Okay, context, family. I don't know what that means. Oh, the credit piece. Yep. Factoring in your phone bills, your utilities to help you build credit. I do like that. I do like that idea. I do. I'm not really opposed to that one. Years ago, they let you build credit through utilities and rent. Whites already got that option. They got everything, family. They got all the acres. They got the reparations when we were emancipated. We got a nothing burger and got ADOS running around here, the lineage, talking about pull yourself up by your bootless straps. As if we miraculously grew from 4 million post-slavery to 35 million. We just been sitting collecting welfare checks, not pulling ourselves up by our bootless straps. That's been our square. They gave it all to white folks. I would like that agency to be called ADOS instead of African American. This is where our edits come in, Cynthia. Brenda Renee Smith, thank you for joining the live. Grassroots, we are no longer minority BIPOC. That's right. We are ADOS, ADOS, ADOS. Yes, we are. I'm so proud of that. I'm proud to be amongst y'all, family. Yes, I am. Okay. Everything must be spelled out specifically for ADOS. Absolutely, BT. ADOS is in the house. Hey, how y'all doing? We appreciate the translation, friends of ADOS TV. We tune in here to learn well. Run me my check. Hashtag run me my check. That's excellent. Y'all some creative geniuses. Welcome to the live, family. Glad you're watching. Glad you're tuning in. Joe Hankins, African Americans must be removed from American vernacular when referred to ADOS. And the way we do that, family, is when that census come around, you put an ADOS and you spell it out for them. Okay? A white guy came to my door for the neighbors to get her census. Honey, she's ADOS. And I showed up, told him, and we had a beautiful, stimulating conversation about our new and final destination with our identity. We are American descendants of slavery. Period. The end. So you go everywhere and say that. William Dickens shared with me about how he was, he was somewhere. I can't recall what he was doing, but they got engaged in a conversation. And he said, I'm ADOS. And she said, so am I. They were so excited. It's like, fam. What the hell was at the inaugural conference? Oh, I had a ball there. I will never forget the high from that. I can't wait till we can all come together again. There's so many new ADOS I have yet to meet. I can't wait till conference time so I can love y'all up. Okay? Y'all just come and give me a bear hug when you see me, all right? That's not going to be the next year, but I'm waiting for that. I can't wait. I love that first conference. I was going to say Freedmen's Bureau Bank. Yeah. When Andrew Johnson took away the 40 acres and a mule, he gave us Freedmen's Bureau Bank and allowed white folks to pillage it and rob from us all over again. We've been duped so many times. That's why education is important, family. So we can read through and dissect white folks' BS and call them on it and make the edits. Make it plain. Joe says, we all who are aware and woke have issues with this mess pushed in our face. Yes, we do. But family, it beats a nothing burger. Let's not be so heavily bound that we're no earthly good. We got some edits. We need to really quickly work on those edits this weekend and run them to Trump. Yes, we do. That part, sis. Okay, Joe Hankins. Harris protected Mnuchin against ADOS. Yes, to all you said. FOS regulations. FOS. Oh, I don't know that acronym. Absolutely. He He paid her $11,000 for a senatorial race. She refused to prosecute him when he was over One West Bank. Wrongfully foreclosed on our homes. You'd be hard-pressed to find a black homeowner in the Bay. Thanks to Kamala. Okay? I'm trying to be nice and not call them names, but sometimes it slips out. I mean, the Democrats and the Republicans, I've grown accustomed to calling both parties that. They both screw us. We ain't borrowing a damn dime. This is a joke. They also made us ill. Absolutely, Joe. Joe Hankins. Yes. They make us ill. Redlining us into environmentally hazardous buildings and communities. Absolutely. Put all the malaise, all the crap in our communities. The cancer is from the crap that they're doing in the environments where we live. The water where we live. We ain't borrowing nothing. Right? This is why Cynthia says we are less likely to be covered now unless our employer covers it. Oh, yeah, can't afford it. Folks want to brag about Obamacare. Run me that data. Y'all know we on that data. Run me that data. How many black folks can afford Obamacare? I'm blessed because my PPO dropped from $758 per month to $220 per month. How many ADOS in this country can afford $220 a month for private doctors? How many of them could afford $758 when it was $758? Okay? It's sad. But COVID has both hurt many of us and helped some of us. It lowered my premiums for private doctors. Maya Fowler, welcome to the live, my love. You better speak on it. Y'all know I was listening to Tiffany Mallory today, speaking, with the Taylor family. And I said, Lord, that woman sounds just like me. I think Joe was over there. I said, she is radical. I loved it. And I was like, well, that would be me. She gave me permission to be free, to be loud and just write about everything. Okay. Maya said, just run me my goddamn check. Absolutely, my sister. Lily, welcome to the live. Tell me what's a PPO. Okay, you know what an HMO, right? PPO is private. I don't know what the acronym stands for. Let's just say when you have an HMO, you are relegated to a specific group of doctors, usually not the best, in substandard medical facilities. And this is not all. I'm talking about out here what I experienced through an HMO. And you have to literally go to the doctor before you can go to the specialist. Okay, so yeah, it's very, very cheap. But the PPOs are the higher end. That means you can choose your doctors and choose your specialists. Okay, I pay a $15 copay and the insurance company picks up 87% of my bill. I pay the other 13%. But I get the best doctors here in Southern California. Go anywhere I want. If I need a specialist, go see the specialist and take my Blue Shield card. That's what I do. So I don't know what it stands for. I think it's private physicians. I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't want to lie. I'll check into that, Lily. Or you can Google it real quick and type it in the chat. That would be helpful. I got to move the show. Chandeliers, girl. I'm going to take pictures of my doctor's office the next time I go. But guess how few ADOS is up in there luxuriating with citrus water. Okay. The best of AC, the best of furniture, the best of flat screens, the best of chandeliers. I had that coverage when I was working at Wells Fargo. These are my doctors. It's complete women care. It's all about the women. High end, everything top of the line. You go there to luxuriate. Do you hear me? That's what we are all owed. That level of treatment. Mostly white and immigrants up in there with money. Okay, that can go to white clinics in black communities. Well, our black communities should have black doctors running these high-end kind of facilities as they do for the whites and immigrants where I go. Black doctors should be running that. But when you rob us of education and rob us of the resources to educate ourselves and won't pay our reparations, we have a $100 trillion egregious racial wealth gap. Who can afford to send their kids to school for 12 years to become doctors? The best. Give me giving away all the entitlements to the immigrants, to the white people, white women, immigrants, and LGBTQ. Who else? Our kids are left out, cut out. Cynthia says, protect life. That is against abortionist. Protect life. That is against abortionist. I don't know what that means, sis. Unpack that. Oh, for profit prisons. Absolutely. Okay. That's what it is. For profit prisons. Unless you talk about dismantling that, you're not really talking. What's up, Donna Michelle? Thank you for joining the live. Tiffany, anti-abortion BS, protect life. Anti-abortion BS, protect life. Y'all have to help me, please, because I don't know what that means. So who's going to do the edits? I'm going to reach out to Cynthia McDonald from the 13%, Arthur Ward, Dawn Page. Oh, there's Cynthia, y'all. She called in. Hold on. Let's get on the main line. What's up, 13%? Huh? Hold on. Let me put you on the Bluetooth since you ain't come. You want me to send you a link?
You can, or I can just talk right now.
Okay, well, let me put you on the Bluetooth. Can everybody hear? Say something, Cynthia McDonald.
Hello, everybody.
ADOS Chicago family. 13% is in the house. What's up, Sis Star? She called me to explain anti-abortion. Go ahead, my love. What were you saying?
Oh, well, I was just saying that portion, let me, because I actually got that plan pulled up.
Okay.
Because I called Arthur, and I said, Arthur, you got to hear this, right? I said, have you heard this is actually coming out? He said, no, I didn't. I was like, okay, I got to tell you. So I was actually reading the plan to him, and I'm trying to see exactly where that portion was that I was commenting on about the whole anti-abortion.
Okay.
At the very part where it says defend religious freedom, exemptions to respect religious believers, and always protect life. That's the portion I was talking about that was against, the abortionists or, people who are pro-life.
Well, let me explain. If we had not aborted 20...
I'm sorry, pro-choice. I'm sorry, pro-choice. Yeah.
Protect life is pro-choice?
Yeah. So like the people who are actually, for abortion or want to protect abortion rights, etc., they're pro-choice. People
right.
People who are against abortion will be pro-life. Yeah. So that particular portion, like always protect life, that's more so to, I would say like dog whistle politics concerning the conservative portion when it comes to, pro-life. Because conservatives more likely are going to be pro-life, liberals are more likely pro-choice.
I get what you're saying now. Thank you for the clarification. You can stay on the line while I finish this show out. I think I'm gonna have to do my reading on Sunday because I'm at 1:13. I don't like to ear fatigue my audience. So I'll probably do like 4 dead presidents on Sunday if you want to stay on and we can continue to dissect this. Let me share about my thoughts on abortions. We have aborted, and I checked this a few years ago, so it probably is far more. 20 million Black babies since 73. That's a problem because had we kept those babies, imagine the Hispanics wouldn't have outpaced us by 1.5 times. They're about to double us in population down here when they open these borders if the Democrats get a full Monty this election cycle, which we're trying to prevent. I am not for abortion this egregious because being poor makes you a target for government sanctioned executions in the same way it makes you a target to abort your children. And so I guess I might be a little conservative. I don't like the fact that we have been forced to use abortion as a form of birth control. To me, it's a eugenist way of controlling the numbers. I read on my show about Ruth, RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, how she was in fact a eugenist. She said, and I quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said abortion rights are there to get rid of people that we don't want. She literally said that. So I'm feeling some kind of way to see immigrants coming over here, practically doubling our numbers while we abort our children. My thing is, instead of giving us abortion clinics in our communities, give us resources, give us the highest education, give us the high-end jobs. I like that he wants to bring back manufacturing jobs, because truthfully, that's how I earned $20 an hour during summers home from college in '84 in manufacturing at General Motors. And you're talking $15 an hour. We're in 2020, and the cost of living is far more egregious now than it was in '84. So those manufacturing jobs enable our family to secure their homes. Mm-hmm. And that's why they believe so much in the Democrats, because they've been able to take advantage of the affirmative action that has been co-opted by all the other groups while we've been left tethered to the bottom. So anywho, being poor, makes you uneducated. You go out here and make uneducated choices, and you use abortions as a form of birth control. It's all related.
So what I would say to that is that, I guess like part of my particular philosophy is that I don't disparage a person if they decide that they can't necessarily take care of a child, so they'll get an abortion. However, I'm going to put a caveat to that. Oftentimes, what I have observed, especially to your particular point, is that, abortion would run rampant in an impoverished community, because the main reason why I would even say the ADOS would decide to abort is because they cannot afford to take care of the child or children, or, if they have twins or whatever. So they're kind of put in this catch-22 position where they say, okay, if I can just gather the money up now, I can go ahead and abort the child, because, trying to take care of myself and feed somebody else is just not in the budget.
Exactly.
So to your point concerning taking care of poverty and addressing poverty, because, we know the numbers when it comes to our particular community, that would, I feel, probably most likely curtail a lot of the issues that it comes with family planning and family choices, especially when we're dealing with actually bringing children into this world. And also to the point about, the Hispanic or Latinx population, one of the things I find really horrific is how one is defined Hispanic or Latinx. And I'll tell you why. It's because one of the things that they do when they define Hispanic or Latinx is that they take any person who is Spanish-speaking descent and put them all into one category of Hispanic.
Right.
So that is central. That's any person that's from Central America. That's any person from South America. That's any person from Mexico. That's any person from any Hispanic, speaking island, and a person who happens to be from Spain, which is European descent.
Mm.
So they curtail all these particular ethnicities from different countries and put them into one ethnicity. And even I believe that Yvette talked about how the sensibilities and even what, a typical Hispanic would, actually advocate for is different depending on what their lineage is.
Absolutely.
So you have a Cuban who would possibly advocate for school choice, and they may be more conservative in their particular sensibilities versus a person from Mexican descent who would, maybe be a DACA recipient or maybe first generation here, mm-hmm. and they would have a totally different sensibility when it comes to to immigration issues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I really, so that really kind of, grinds my gears, as Peter, the dude from Family Guy would say. like you've got like all these, you basically what the United States did was make a hodgepodge of people. Put them into one group and say they are the new, especially when you're talking about the Democrats, those are the people that we're going to actually prop up now so that they can be our new voting bloc.
Yep.
So they vote, depending on what lineage they're from, they are all over the place. And we even see that with the numbers when it came to 2016 for Hillary. Even though the Hispanics voted for Hillary, I want to say less than 70%, it still did not outpace us.
Yet.
And the main reason is because they still had a large sect of Hispanics from other particular countries that still was very conservative in their views when it came to voting. And since I even heard another immigrant who was a business owner the other day when I decided to run away. That's a long story.
You ran away?
That's a long story since I had to get my mind right. Anyway. I was listening to this immigrant. She was actually from Vietnam, and she was talking to this white lady about the election. And she told the white lady, as plain as I'm talking to you right now, when it comes to the November election, I hope Trump wins.
Yeah.
And you know why she said that?
Sure.
Because she's concerned about the economy.
Well, all I know is that they're in a dead heat and that not all Latinx community is for opening these borders.
No, they're not.
And to me, this is what's problematic with the Democrats and the Republicans, because they don't, like you so effectively did, break out these groups based on ethnicities and what their needs are. Right. And so they're always like, oh my God, I thought that offering them to open the borders would have been, the thing that they wanted to win their votes. When in fact, this is not what they want, and you're going to lose their votes to Trump.
A good section of them, yeah.
Yeah, because guess why? I shared on a prior show that more poor immigrants in this country suppress the wages of the immigrants that are here. In the same way that the immigrants, more of them suppress the wages to the ADOS.
Right.
We're the ones they're in closer proximity to, not the wealthy. Okay, unless you're Cuban.
Right.
And there are fewer of them than there are the poorer ones, the blue collar ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got set-asides to make them whole. When their wages are suppressed, we don't.
Right.
And that's what's problematic about opening up the floodgates and why a lot of blacks will be voting for Trump, because they understand the correlation between more immigrants hurting ADOS.
Right.
But more immigrants is helpful for capitalism. Capitalism needs two things. It needs a bottom caste, and it needs immigration to make and create a permanent bottom class. Because when they bring in immigrants and can suppress wages, that's a come up for immigrants what it is to oppression to us. It tethers us to the bottom when they do that. Mm-hmm. But capitalism requires that bottom, and they decided long ago it was ADOS. And so they incentivize the immigrants to come over here, and in turn, they turn profit off the backs of both of us. But once again, suppressed wages to the immigrants is a come up for them.
Right.
Exactly. It's our decimation.
Right. Exactly.
It makes us even less American.
And even like, to your point concerning like suppressed wages might be even a come up to an immigrant. Let's even take about the Ethiopian community, right? If you look at the minimum wage that a person from Ethiopia would make in their country versus what they could make here as an immigrant is far beyond what they would make in their own country. So they can still send back, I forgot what the actual term was called, they can send back those particular wages, that they would earn here to prop up their particular company, their particular families in their home country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that happens oftentimes. I mean, like, I even think like, I always talk about, I talk about a lot of even my particular lineage, my dad is Adolf and my mom's Jamaican. And, for a long time, I remember with my grandma and my grandfather and my mom, we would pack up these huge barrels of clothes, socks, underwear, all this other stuff that we would send back, to Jamaica. Out for the earnings that my mom made, my grandfather made, my grandmother made, because that may not necessarily have been something that was easily
attained
in that particular country. Yeah.
Because they don't have access to that.
Right.
And so you bring them here and they're able to enrich their countries.
Yeah.
And then they get wealthy on the backs of ADOS over here when you give them more of our entitlements and set-asides that were due us post-slavery. Mm-hmm. What does that leave us tethered to the bottom?
Nothing. And especially when we're used to living American life, we need, in order for us to live American life, we have to have the wages, the income, and the wealth that's commensurate to what Americans are used to.
Absolutely, so, because in effect they have made us third world in the country we built.
And that's there. So like, it's kind of like crazy that any person, when we're, making specific demands to say like, we want full access to citizenship and what citizenship looks like is this, they look at us crazy like, oh, you're demanding too much. We're like, no, we're not demanding too much. We're demanding to us what is owed.
Absolutely.
If this is something that we actually built, there is plenty of data to prop up that free labor that America received for over 250, almost 250 years, made America a first world economic power.
Yes.
It made it an economic power. Without free labor, chattel slavery, America would not be America. And the thing that we are demanding from America is what is owed for the labor and also the patriotism, because remember, we fought in every war.
Absolutely.
And the very first casualty of war was a Black man.
Yep.
We want our just due when it comes to what we have invested in this particular land.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Period, Pooh. Let's read through the rest of the comments real quick so I can pray us out. We almost at an hour and a half. Okay, Donna, you can stay on the line, love. Donna Michelle, right, they won't free our men. Yeah, the ones who are nonviolent, who were in there for drugs or weed. No, they're not freeing them, but they're profitizing the weed shops all over. They're cropping up, and we don't own them. And they dump them in our communities for white folks to come, not only own them, but come to our communities to purchase from them and then go back to the birds. So who's going to do the edits? Back to Maya's question. Hopefully Cynthia, Arthur, Hassan, Tansy, Dawn. Or, we may agree to just give him ADOS101.com and our reparations number at 17 trillion. I don't know. I know we need a Zoom. What you think, Cynthia?
I'm down for writing edits. I ain't got no problem.
I love it. See, already won. All I got to do is make a call. My ADOS movement family love me Black and strong like I love them. It is a family affair, a love affair. Yes, it is. Maya says in Alaska, the cops own the weed shops. Ain't that about a blip? Maya, do you know Jewel Dropper? Let me know. You need to hook up with her. She is one of our real soldiers out there in Alaska. And this is from you, Cynthia. You said, sis, when they said restore safety to Americans' great cities by working with police departments, community leaders, and mental health professionals to install the most responsive professionals and accountable models of policing, including diversified training and accreditation standards, community policing, shit, that don't work. Okay? It absolutely does not work. Could you speak to that, sis, about community policing?
Yeah, I remember I read an article, I want to say it was in the 17 magazine not too long ago, about how this is a plan that was touted by Joe Biden to really push for community policing. But community policing has been utilized on a municipal level in different American cities for years. And we still have high contention between the constituency in urban areas, specifically ADOS people, and the police. And the reason being is because their practices are not really community oriented. And what I mean by that is, and I'm just going to take example for my city, Chicago. And I'm going to tell a brief story. So before when COVID really hit the fan, and my organization said, hey, guess what? You guys are working from home. I was like, okay. And then I remember I had to run to the store or something like that real quick. And then I was on my way home, and there was a light. I had a headlight that was out on my car. And I was like, oh, crap, I'll get it fixed tomorrow, right? So I was driving at night. I had one headlight on, but that prompted me to get stopped by a police officer.
Wow.
And I was only a few blocks away from home.
Wow.
And let me tell you something, sis. Do you know that I was damn near hyperventilating when I got pulled over?
I bet you were.
Yeah, I was so scared. And the reason being is, and that was right after the whole news broke about Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, you know what I'm saying? And then and it was two white cops in an unmarked car that came to talk to me, and they were just wanting to tell me about my headlight, which I knew about. I said, yeah, I'll get it fixed. And he said, well, just go to here. He just go out of zone, get it fixed. Woo, woo, woo. I was like, all right, cool. But the whole time before he even came to my car, I was like, okay, 10 and 2. Let me make sure that my hands are on 10 and 2. Let me make sure that my hands are visible the whole time. I'm not about to make sudden moves. Okay, I did pay my insurance, right? Yeah, no, my insurance is good. No, my car is good. Is my city sticker okay? Yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm going through all these particular,
changes
in my head. And my changes in my head, only because I'm concerned about getting home alive.
Yes, I do, sis.
And the thing about it is that the neighborhood that I live in is predominantly Black. But oftentimes we see in our particular neighborhood who's policing us are white folk.
Slave patrols, baby.
Slave patrols. And the thing about it is like, why can't, and I know that there's plenty Black cops that work in the city of Chicago. Why can't we have a population of people who happen to belong to our group policing our neighborhood?
Exactly.
So we are not really, even though they say, okay, we're going to introduce community policing so the people will get to know the police that's in their area. Sure, that's great. But the thing about it is that community policing starts by hiring and putting people who live in that area,
right,
and look like and belong to your group in that area to police you. Not folk who live all the way out in the suburbs and you are in that particular area, or they live in predominantly Caucasian areas.
Big time.
Because they're going to have different sensibilities, and also they come with their own implicit biases when they're coming to your neighborhood.
All the time.
So this whole thing about, oh yeah, we're just going to introduce this particular community policing, but with no caveats, with no particular guidelines of what that even is supposed to look like. And like I said, urban communities has been doing this for years, and it never worked. 2 words, Laquan McDonald.
Well, thank you, sis, for that. Trey X, ADOS, thank you for joining the live. What's up, fam? More money for cops, Maya Fallow said. Yep. Just like Joe Biden, in an era of Black Lives Matter and defund the police, wants to infuse $350 more million into the police throughout the country. Yep. Cynthia says, and sis, they got rid of anti-racist training in federal agency. What makes you think they, did you want to finish that thought, sis?
Yeah, they, in the era of Trump administration, they got rid of anti-racism training for their federal employees and federal agencies. So, like, they were supposed to go through this particular training. Trump's administration said, nah, you ain't got to do that. They got rid of it. So they don't have to go through any type of diversity training whatsoever. So if the administration actually got rid of anti-racist training or anti-racism training on the federal level, what makes you think that this particular promise that he put in his platinum platform is actually going to be translated into police, especially into police agencies throughout the United States? I'm not confident.
I feel you, sis. Tiffany said, loans are debt. Privatization is slavery. You better know it. Watch out for those words, family. Private. Donna Michelle A says, it's 2 million of us still in there, Angie. And what, prison? Donna, let me know where you got that number from. I thought we had a little under 1 million in prison, more than all women in prison throughout the world. But I'm open to some new information. Please shed light on the 2 million. Cynthia said, whole communities are not violent.
That's right.
Could you unpack that?
That's right. Whole communities meaning that if
resources.
Resources, businesses, proper education, everything that you would see in a white neighborhood, if you see it in a black neighborhood, any type of, blame game that happens when it comes to gun violence, violence, whatever you call it, would be I wouldn't say eliminated, but it would be
come to a screeching.
It would be sweepingly less than what it is right now.
Absolutely. You ain't giving the people nothing to live for.
That's right.
It's a powder keg. I mentioned that on your show. You know how they want to rape and rob and pillage our communities, then blame us and lock us up.
Right.
They drop guns and drugs in our communities to justify enslaving us in private prisons.
Right.
In the same way they took away education, took away home ownership. And the only thing you need to do is compare it to the way you grew up. I grew up in a middle-class family that was making good money. We had homes. We didn't have all this gang banging and gang violence and drug wars and all this stuff. These things were created.
That's right.
All of this has been legislated.
Yep.
They have legislated us into the bottom from all the way since they drug us over here to work this land through the heinous chattel slave labor. And they give with one hand and take away with the other. What were you about to say, Cynthia?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, when was the war on drugs declared? Like late 70s, early 80s?
Which one? The war on drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't that Nixon?
Yeah. Well, Nixon started it and Reagan ramped it up with Joe Biden's help.
Yeah. And then Joe Biden came with the 94 crime bill and Clinton finished it off with 3 strikes.
Yep.
The biggest surplus in the government came from private prisons while Clinton was in office.
Yeah.
On the backs of black bodies. Okay. Maya says, nope, that is BS. We already have that. Again, what kind of job? Absolutely. We need to know what kinds of jobs. Are they manufacturing jobs? They're paying $30 an hour.
Right.
Because right now you've crippled us so much, you can't be plopping in high-end jobs in the community where the people have a high school education. But back in the gap with affirmative action, a high school education could get you a good GM job, $25, $30 an hour. And you could still afford to be American. You could afford to buy your homes and the such.
Right.
Not anymore. So what kind of jobs matter? Right. What would you do to make them whole? Tiffany says, we don't need a job. We need everything for success. Yeah. We need transformational politics.
Right.
Not class-based policies that don't fix race. You lift everybody, we still on the bottom. No more white wealth transfers through eliminating all of student loan debt when only 16% of ADOS is degreed. or less by now. Cynthia says, make Juneteenth a national holiday. That I like. Okay. Oh, I jumped down too far. Yeah, I love making Juneteenth a national holiday. That's something we've already been doing in most of our communities. Oh my God, Jaybird is in the house, just like an HMO. Oh, I can't believe it. We got all this, and all that money went into the railroad. Oh my God, we got so many more comments, family. Y'all been busy. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you, family. York 2700 in the house. I jumped down too far. Sis, Arthur just wrote a great post. Okay, let me jump. I'm going to get through my comments. Y'all, if y'all get tired, I got to finish this show. It's just too fire, and the comments are fire. I got to read them. Y'all have really been doing your job in the chat. Okay, so we don't need a job. We need everything for success. We need you to run us those reparations. Okay, Juneteenth, a celebration to their supremacy. A celebration to their supremacy? No. Juneteenth is a celebration. In the event you don't know and you haven't been following me in Prejudicial, our ancestors freed us. So many of them were fleeing to the Union camps during the war. A good 500 of them initially. There was first 3 of them. Then 500 came. All of these ancestors went to the Union camps for protection and to escape enslavement. They were the ones to put pressure on Abe Lincoln to emancipate us. He didn't do that because he was some type of abolitionist. At the same time he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, he was trying to colonize us in Haiti. He wanted to get rid of all AOS in this country and make it all white. And that's what you see happening now. All these attempts to continue to whiten America. We are still government property. ADOS is still the property of this government. So please understand, Juneteenth is not a celebration to their supremacy. It is a celebration of our ancestors' persistence and fortitude to fight for the freedoms you and I have to talk about these devils on this show.
Can I make a suggestion to you, Miss?
Yes.
Concerning the whole issue with Abe Lincoln and wanting to kind of like, marshal us off of the mainland.
Yeah.
Because I know that originally his platform when he ran and when he was just an abolitionist before he became president was to ship enslaved folks or formerly enslaved folks to Liberia. But they abandoned that plan because of economic cost.
Oh, wow. I didn't know the Liberia part. Prejudicial's Margaret Kimberly didn't raise that. She talked about the Haiti efforts.
Yeah, that was Haiti, because there was a whole debate concerning on what to do with, Black slaves. Right.
Yeah.
Especially if we actually achieve this whole thing concerning freedom for them. And before a lot of the abolitionists would go back and forth about sending Black people off the mainland from the United States or to Haiti or to Liberia, because, Liberia was a country that was established by the United States, for free Black people who wanted to go, which they only happened to, from the time period that they established the country, only up to 12,000 people, Black Americans, enslaved and freed, actually went to Liberia. The whole, and that was from the time that the first was established up into the early 20th century.
How many?
12,000.
Wow.
Not a lot.
No.
Not a lot at all. But, but in part, but I think that a lot of that was mitigated because of the abandonment of Lincoln of not really marshaling a plan to do this whole back to Africa or off the mainland type thing. And the reason being is because they basically did not want to pay for the cost to ship people off of the particular mainland to these particular countries. I mean, because even if you think about it, By the time the slavery ended, what did you have? 4 million ex-slaves?
Yep.
Can you think about the cost of putting all those people on ships?
Right.
And not even to mention shipping them off of United States mainland. The majority of them, they ain't know nothing about no Africa or Haiti or any of these other places. Their life was the United States, even though it was a funky one, being a slave. But
Right.
they don't know nothing but America.
Right.
By that time, we already was at least about 7, 8 generations into slavery. By
Yep.
the time that our ancestors were free. So
244 years.
Yeah, about 244, 246 years of slavery in
Yeah.
America before America was America.
Yep.
So these people did not have a particular, they didn't have like a whole idea of even what the continent was of Africa.
Right.
Or even or what the Caribbean was or any of that.
Because it's
they should go back to these particular places. Go where?
Right, because the trading had stopped. They set up breeding farms.
Yes.
That's how we got to 4 million. They bred us like chattel, like animals.
Yes, and that's why it's called chattel slavery.
Absolutely. Juneteenth, a celebration to their supremacy. I, disagree with that. I feel it's a celebration of our ancestors' persistence in our freedom. After reading Margaret Kimberly's book, Prejudicial, which we still have more dead presidents to cover, not tonight. The show is too rich. I'll pick it up on Sunday, family. Maya says, you said actually, Trump, we need a Homestead Act of 1862 to 1986. What do you mean by that, family?
Look, we mentioned it on one of our shows, and I want to add to it. On one of our shows that we did, a conservative case for reparation, we mentioned that the Homestead Act was one of the hugest policies for white America to actually have access to wealth.
You're right.
I mean, Cargill, which is like the dog food or the pet food company that's still privately owned, got their whole land and was able to manufacture dog food or whatever they did, right, because of the Homestead Act. Purdue Chicken, Tyson Chicken, those places are actually, still here because of the Homestead Act. Archel Daniel Midland Company, which ADM, which is like the corn soybean company, it was their headquarters is in a small town in Illinois called Decatur, Illinois, but they have like their offices here in Chicago. I even applied to work for them after I graduated college because I went to college in Decatur, Illinois. They didn't accept me, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, they're still in business, but they were able to actually even start their business because they took advantage of the Homestead Act. And I believe that, on the show, it was mentioned that 45 million white Americans are still living off of the wealth off of that one policy today.
Well, it sounds to me like we've got our answer, family. Just drop in ADOS everywhere throughout the Homestead Act and give it to them.
Hello. As a matter of fact, I recently read that there was 93 million recipients of the Homestead Act between 1862 to 1986.
Unfreaking believable.
Right?
I mean, the way they have pillaged ADOS and cut us out of access to being American, it is unconscionable the more I learn. Maya Fowler says we already celebrate it nationally. Yes, but it's not a national holiday like MLK Jr. Day. Tiffany says, leave anti-fascists alone.
Antifa.
I guess. I don't know what that means.
You know what? I don't have enough knowledge on Antifa itself.
Yeah.
But I ain't that mad at it. I get it. As far as because I don't particularly subscribe to fascist sensibilities, and to be honest with you, sis, sometimes when I listen to Trump speak, if he was able to kind of be a totalitarian type of figurehead in America, he would be. And I get that, and I get that sensibility when he remarked on President Xi in China, when President Xi decided to make himself president for life. I almost feel that, and then Trump said, president for life, not a bad idea. So, if it wasn't for the checks and balances that are in the Constitution, I really believe that that's something that he would possibly go for. But, thank goodness for the checks and balances. Thank goodness that we do have the government that we do have. I really think that even though he was able to kind of run amok a bit, he was not able to run amok as much as he could have if it wasn't for the checks and balances in government.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Cynthia, you talked about somebody mentioned Lift Every Voice plan. It's Lift Every Voice but ADOS plan. You must go check it out. It has no teeth in it. And no real reform for, our imprisoned. I was about to say enslaved. Same thing in this country.
Same thing, yeah.
So no, that Lift Every Voice plan doesn't lift ADOS voice. It has no teeth in it for us. Brenda Renee Smith, they said he is trying to get votes, and I said Biden and Kamala are not. Absolutely, Brenda Renee Smith. Thank you for joining the live. Yeah, they're not coming for our vote. The Democrats are going for the Republican and the immigrant vote. They already know the hand of ADOS the lineage is to be a sheeple, and they don't require much. They have managed to make unseating Trump, a priority of many of the ADOS lineage. They have made Trump a boogeyman to the people who suffer the most in this country. And that's ridiculous since we didn't put him in office. But this is how we've always allowed them to use us for the vote. Every election cycle, wait. And we waited all the way to George Floyd 846 and Breonna Taylor and so on and so forth. We're done waiting. Protest vote, Green Party or blank top of the ticket, Democratic down ballot so that we can replace the Democrats in office within 2 years. And we can lock up government. If Trump wins the top and we deliver a Democratic Congress, then everybody suffers. We're going to socialize our suffering this election cycle. Because if the Democrats or the Republicans get it all the way, the trifecta, the full Monty, ADOS will be the only ones suffering. We've been suffering. We understand it. We're familiar with it. The rest of the country is uncomfortable. And that's the only way they're marching, because they're uncomfortable too. So let's keep that energy until the ADOS can get the Democrats to deliver on reparations full-chested on our terms. Tiffany says ADOS has a specific problem and we deserve a specific solution. You are right. And we have been placed in the bottom caste due to institutional systemic racism, no fault of our own. Adrian Taylor, hashtag run me my check.
I know that's right, sis.
Run me my check. That's it. Y'all so creative. They'll make a whole new hashtag behind something I said. Run me my check. We need that campaign. That's right. Jacaranda Williams, welcome to the live, my love. Okay, LBJ was a Democrat. That is why we Democrat for over 50 years. Damn it. Okay. I thought he was Republican. I don't know why there was such a fight for civil rights if he's Democrat, but I guess because at one point the Democrats were the Republicans were the Democrat. What's up, Jay Bird? Thank you for joining live. York 2700, peace and blessings. They are two wings of the same bird, family. Just know that. Jay Bird, not long. I love you, Angela. I love you, Black and Strong. Jay Bird, thank you for the love. What about Vegas? What's peace and blessings, York 2700. I'm glad we get along now, can play nice in the sandbox. What about in Vegas? You need more specifics around that, York, so I can answer you. Cynthia says, strategy mixed bag, hashtag strategy mixed bag.
That's for you.
What you mean? I have a strategy mixed bag.
Right, because you were saying that, top of the ticket, maybe go to Trump, Democratic Congress, we just kind of keep people at odds, until, hey, hashtag strategy mixed bag.
Strategy mixed bag. All I know is all we got in us is a Democratic Congress. We ain't got nothing at the top for the Democrats. So let the chips fall where they may. Okay.
Yep.
They're trying to kick Green Party off the ticket all throughout the country because they are fearing not just the ADOS disrupting this election cycle. We ain't the only ones protesting. Those Bernie bros are hotter than fish grease too, because Biden ain't got nothing in it for them. He said things will fundamentally stay the same from since Obama. And they already said no to that when 100 million of us stayed home last election cycle. It was mostly them because we were, we turned out. I don't know to what degree, but a lot of Hillary got 90% of the female vote, and I want to say 85% of the black male vote. So
she got close to 97% black female vote, 81% black male vote, overall 90% black vote went to Hillary Clinton in 2016.
But it's our fault. It's our fault that Trump won.
Right. But it's our fault. Okay.
Wait, they vote overwhelmingly for Trump. 100 million stay home, but it's Adolf's fault Trump won.
Right, that Trump won. Okay.
I won't even have my feelings hurt this election cycle when they run that racket. Yeah, I don't even care. Blame it on Adolf's. We don't care. We let you know up front that we are disrupting this election. Jay Bird says,
with some roly-poly, Roland Martin, that's roly-poly advocate over that particular number. And I was like, he said, well, how you going to say, that black people didn't show up in 2016? I said, why are you sitting up here blaming your own people for Hillary's loss?
Right.
When we overwhelmingly voted for Hillary Clinton more than anybody else. Why aren't you yelling at white people?
Yeah.
Why aren't you yelling at Hispanics? Why aren't you yelling at Asians? Why aren't you yelling at anybody else? I do not understand why you are coming for black folks.
Right.
We showed up for her more than anybody else.
Okay. Just like we will for Biden. And 100 million of them white folks staying home. And so Trump is still going to get it. And of course, they're going to lose some black support. They're losing a lot more because we have been railing in on this Democratic down ballot, leave it blank or Green Party top. We don't want the ballots to be thrown out, family. They're finding truckloads of ballots. So please be careful and know your Board of Election laws, okay? Jay Bird said he's so proud of me, period. Oh, thank you so much, family. I love y'all, Black and Strong. Thank you for your support. And y'all just make me, y'all are the wind beneath my wings. I tell you that all the time. Cynthia, you said Arthur just wrote a great post about state rules concerning rules with down ballot. That's wonderful. Where can we find that, Cynthia?
You check out my baby on ADOS absolute.com.
Oh, yes.
ADOS absolute.com. He just did a fire post.
Okay.
A fire post called something. Hold on. I'm about to tell you what it is called. It's called The Proper Vote. And what he did was he broke down what the rules are per state when it comes to write-in restrictions. Okay. So like depending on, because like, as you stated already, Sister Angela, that depending on what state that you are and what your Board of Election rules are, you can, if you don't necessarily put anything in at the top of the ticket, or if it's blank or what have you, you might risk your ballot being thrown out. So it's important for you to really know what your state rules are when it comes to voting. So, and like specifically for my state, Illinois, there are write-in restrictions. Like you can do a write-in at the top of the ticket, but write-in restrictions could be different things for different states. So if you don't want to risk your ballot being disqualified in any of these states, the restrictions themselves are laid out and politicians deliberated and compose pseudo-legalese. So make sure that you find out exactly what your particular state, information is. I know for me, because there's writing restrictions and I could risk my ballot being thrown out if I write an ADOS at the top of the ticket or leave it blank or anything like that, I'm more likely probably going to vote green. Just because I ain't feeling Trump and I ain't feeling Biden. They both suck. It's kind of like I was on a panel a few weeks ago about voting, and I love the way that one particular panelist put it. And I promise you, he used some expletives, but I'm not going to do it on the show. He said you're going to give us one pile of caca that's hard and one pile of caca that's soft. So it's kind of like, what kind of caca do you want, right?
Right.
So I just took it saying that you need to making us constipated or giving us diarrhea on November 3rd.
That's it. I feel that, and that's how I feel, family. These restricted states are so wacky, and I just don't want us to suppress our own votes. You run that risk writing an ADOS, and I'm saying we'll make it a point by leaving it blank. And writing Green Party top of the ticket if you have that offering in your state. They just got it removed off of Texas. I don't know if the Green Party is going to get it back, but check your ballot. But do not put Green Party anyplace else but the top, because I'm here to tell you we don't need to split the Congress, okay? Because if Trump gets it and we put Green Party down the ticket, now that's going to split the Democrat vote, and that could be a dead shoo-in for the Republican. We want the Republicans out of control of the Senate. So do not put Green Party anywhere but at the top if they're offering it in your state, okay?
Yes, if you can. And I would even say to you all, family, if you are in Kentucky or South Carolina, two folks that you need to get out of office quick, fast, in a hurry is Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. Period. You need to get them going. I believe the person I don't know who's running against Mitch McConnell, but I believe the person that's running against Lindsey Graham is Jamie Harrison, and I believe that he has a very good chance to win. Okay. So, if y'all can shoot him out. Y'all got to. You have no choice. You must do it. And that's why you cannot run the risk of suppressing your own vote. Do not fool with it. There are a lot of restricted states, and if you're not going to be thoroughly 100, 200% sure that writing an ADOS won't get the whole ballot thrown out, don't risk it. We need this protest vote to count. And when they see the numbers on the percent of us who voted for Democrats, that's how they know ADOS protested this election cycle. We don't need to write it in there. They're going to feel it in the stats that come out, okay? Kunta, teach sister, we love you. Oh, Kunta Nayamibe, I love you too. Thank you so much. Black is strong. Yes, all the love. Ooh, y'all just know how to love on a sister. Tamara Johnson Shealy is going to be a guest on October 5th on the 13%. Make sure you subscribe. Go ahead. And the 13% will be on Tamara Johnson Shealy show tomorrow morning, family. So check that out. Check that out. Tamara Johnson Shealy show. I think it's called Tamara for Georgia, isn't it? That is correct. I believe it is called, Tamara for Georgia. Make sure that's the name on YouTube. That's her YouTube channel. So please subscribe, get the notifications, blah, 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 all that great stuff. Will be, her show airs at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Eastern Standard Time. Check out the 13%, Cynthia McDonald and Arthur Ward, ADOS Chicago on Tamara's show tomorrow. That's TamaraForGeorgia.com. Thank you, Taj Marie. Welcome to the live, my love. Thank you for typing that in there. TamaraForGeorgia.com to donate. Yes. And to volunteer. All of the above. Donate, support, volunteer, vote. York 2700 said, this is Babylon times. Man, it sure feels like it. Jay Bird, you are doing a wonderful job. Thank you, my love. Taj Marie, I'm down with submitting edits. Team, white supremacy plays both sides. So should we.
Taj Marie, wonderful. Please inbox me at Angela Nirvana or Friends of ADOS TV, or email me at ADOSSoCal1619 at Gmail, or Friends of ADOS TV at Gmail. And we can make sure you're included. Jaybird, Harlem 100, Cynthia. Oh, Dr. Darity will be on our show Monday. 13%. Yep, tune in. They've got the illustrious Dr. William Sandy Darity, Duke Professor, lead economist for the ADOS movement too, will be on the 13% Monday. What time, Cynthia?
That would be I can't talk. 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time,
5 p.m. Pacific.
But yep, 5 p.m. Pacific, what is that? 6 p.m. Mountain. Okay. Yeah, all that.
Absolutely. Cynthia says she did her census online. Donna Damali, love what ADOS is doing. Keep up the great work. Thank you, fam. While you're on that note, family, we need your help with AB 3121. All hands on deck, family. If someone could type this in the chat, we need you guys to call and tweet. We are running out of time to get Governor Gavin Newsom to sign the bill, AB 3121. That's reparations for the ADOS here in California. Let me give you the number. If someone could type it in so I can keep going and get y'all out of here. Call and tweet, quote, sign AB 3121 to make Native Black Americans, ADOS, and California whole for the sin of aiding and abetting slavery. That number is 916-445-2841. 916-445-2841. And you can tweet the same at CA Governor, at CA Governor. That bill needs to be signed by next Wednesday, or family, it's going to be scrapped. And all of the effort that the ADOS California has put, and the nation, ADOS from all over the nation was sitting for hours to be heard on AB 3121 to weigh in as a yes. We're so grateful to this movement, and we are willing and able to do the same for you when it's your turn. But as California goes, so goes the nation. If we can get him to sign that, we're well on our way to getting a study for reparations for the state. So that means 2 checks, because this does not impede on the federal government's obligation in the trillions. But it's nice to start getting the checks from the state as well. We're not talking about either or, we're talking about both and. We need your help with these initiatives. We also need your help with fixing HR 40 edits, okay? Mm-hmm. So please, where do they go for the fixed HR 40 edits? Cynthia, do you know?
I know that Houston, ADOS Houston is leading an effort about fixing HR 40. They did a whole commercial portion about it. Also, there's another website. What is it called? Black. I think it's called Black ADOS Caucus. Oh yeah, it's Black AMDOS Caucus.com.
Hold on one second, sweetie. I'm typing in about AB 3121, then I can type that.
Okay, yeah. So if you all, okay, so once you're done,
you can continue to talk. And then I'll have you slow it down so I can type it.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So if you guys go to Black AMDOS Caucus.com. On that particular site, they have the listed edits. Now, one of the things that I've done on more than one occasion is I would take those particular edits on their website and I would tweet it continuously to Sheila Jackson Lee, to the Black Caucus, to the Black Congressional Caucus, and also to the co-sponsors of HR 40 in Congress, and also and I tweeted those particular edits, the links to those edits on to Kamala Harris and also to Cory Booker, because they are the sponsors for the companion bill in the Senate.
Okay, so slow that down. Fix HR 40. Where can they find more information to get involved in that campaign?
So I believe one is on ADOS Houston's website. Matter of fact, let me make sure that I get that, because they've done a whole thing on HR 40 for ADOS Houston. So you can reach out to them. I know that they are on Twitter at ADOS Houston. Also, you can go to the Black AMDOS caucus.com.
Is AMBOS all one acronym?
Yes, it's all together. So Black BLACKAMDOS caucus CAUCUS.com. And they have the edits listed on their site. You can go to that particular site, pull up the edits, and I will just tweet the link until you just can't tweet it no more.
And you're saying tweet the link to Sheila Jackson Lee?
Mm-hmm. To Sheila Jackson
hold on.
Lee. To,
slow down.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
To Sheila Jackson Lee, because she is she's the chair of that particular committee.
Right.
Also,
you said Kamala Harris.
Yep.
Cory Booker.
Cory
I'm
Booker.
sorry to rush you, but I got to get these people out of here.
Oh, you are fine.
Okay, Cory Booker.
Yeah. And all the co-sponsors that are on the bill.
Okay. Thank you. So go ahead.
If you like Google HR 40 and pull up the bill, you'll be able to see who are all the co-sponsors on the bill. I believe that the majority of the Congressional Black Caucus have co-sponsors on the bill.
Okay. You said FOS regulator. They're responsible for regulating the conduct of business and setting rules for businesses to follow, including the rules on how financial businesses handle complaints. We work closely with the FCA, although we're independent in the way we investigate and decide cases. I don't know what FOS or FCA means.
Yeah, that's an independent agency that actually, helps with regulation. That's all.
Oh, they're independent and they help with reparations?
No, regulation.
Regulation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maya says, and all that money went into the railroads. Yeah. All the money into the railroads. And let's talk about reparations for all of our stolen intellectual property. Lots to factor in. Jay Bird, love that. It beats a nothing burger. I got some sayings, don't I? $220 a month is outrageous for my health care. Cynthia, that's down from $758 a month for a PPO. Thank you. Okay, it's for the person who asked what is a PPO, it is Preferred Provider Organization. Okay? Preferred Provider Organization. That's what PPO stands for. Thank you guys for that. I didn't know. I just know that I get to choose my doctors and my specialists and I don't have to wait to be seen. None of that nonsense. I get seen when I need to be seen. Just like an HMO or health maintenance organization, a PPO plan offers a network of healthcare providers you can use for your medical care. These providers have agreed to provide care to the plan member at a certain rate. Okay, when you have the coverage, which is far more expensive than the HMO. Japer says, love equal vulnerability. Thank you. Oh, yes, I do love y'all. Taj Marie, provider is the doctor or medical specialist that you are receiving care for. Absolutely. Thank you, Taj Marie. Okay, I'm almost down there, guys. Okay, public-private partnership to develop healthcare facilities in low-income areas. That can go to the white clinics. That can go to white clinics. What's that mean? Oh, that can go to white clinics.
Yeah, so what can happen is that if you have a policy like that, in, this says, okay, well, this is like, an agenda for Black Americans,
Mm-hmm.
that can still be earmarked money that predominantly white clinics can utilize in order for them to build clinics in predominantly Black areas. So they would get the money in order for them to be able to build whatever type of facilities that they want, to say that they're going to service a particular population for these particular people, but it's going to be earmarked for them. So they can do whatever they want with it. I know the clinic that, because they stated that they were going to be utilizing their facility to help disadvantaged youth, it was still built in an area that is predominantly white. So you're still going to provide a barrier for those youth to even be able to take advantage of those services in the first place.
See.
So even if it's going to be a white clinic and they're going to actually give services in, predominantly African American neighborhoods, Black neighborhoods, ADOS neighborhoods, you still need to have very specific language that says that you have to build here, provide services here to close health disparities in these particular areas. That particular language that's used in this particular plan, I use particular, I'm sorry, really doesn't spell that out. So I see a lot of loopholes that can be utilized in that language that people can, big conglomerates of like hospital networks can take advantage of that particular money to say, oh, we're going to, take care of this disenfranchised minority group with that money. And they'd be like, okay, here you go. But they can just say, okay, we just service a particular amount of Black Americans in our particular facility here. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be building facilities or even providing health care for that area. They just say that, oh, well, we'll just provide ways for you to come to us instead of us going to you.
See, this is why we need edits. You hear this genius on the line? This is why we need edits. Donna Damali says at least Trump is offering a plan versus the Dems who already stated they are not doing anything specifically for Blacks. Amen. My sentiment exactly. I say let's get these edits done. Put a Zoom together, put the best minds in the ADOS movement together to run Trump these edits for him to look at and to consider running on something a lot more refined and definitive for the ADOS. York 27, do you work out? Yes, I work out. That's an odd question. Yes, I do work out. I take care of my temple. Like I said, I was so thrilled to get a women's wellness exam, and the doctor said my body is functioning 20 years younger than I actually am. Okay? I am thrilled to know that. But working out is a part of my regimen. I drink plenty of water. I have a spiritual practice, to keep my peace of mind. I work out on the beach to keep my peace of mind. I love being out there with nature. What else? I get plenty of sleep. I do my best to keep the stress out of my life. It's very difficult while being in the movement, but very necessary to keep your wits about yourself. You have to have a spiritual practice to make sure the fight is on the outside, not on the inside. This is very stressful because there are a lot of sleepless nights with the ADOS movement. All of us are putting a lot on the line to fight for the rights of ADOS. You don't even understand how intense the activism and the advocacy can be. And sadly, the biggest fight is against our own people. That's the hardest fight, is against our own, to get everybody on board, understanding the disparities and why reparations is absolutely needed and why the protest vote is absolutely needed. You see, the boomers are on their way out. This is almost curtains for them. But I'm concerned about the Gen Xers and the millennials, not the ones like me who border. Yeah, I'm worried about the ones like me that border boomer. Okay? But we have got to do something different, and the millennials are screaming for it, and the younger Gen Xers are screaming for something different. They need us to grow a backbone akin to our ancestors. It's not okay that some of us are unicorns and doing okay and are only interested in protecting our welfare. So I work out to keep up with the youth and to keep up with the fight, because they need us now more than ever to be courageous and do things like gridlock government to, stop the hemorrhaging on ADOS while the movement continues to move. So yes, thank you for that question. I found a way to answer it. Tiffany, yes. Okay, since 73, wow. Yeah, 20 million Black babies since 73. And that was from a few years ago. I don't even know how many moons ago that data came out. I think they stopped putting out that kind of data. They don't want you to know the genocide happening to your own people. That's by design. 20 million. We'd be at 55 million or more if we were made whole in terms of being American, in terms of resources to be American, right? Without the institutional systemic racism, equality in income, equality in job prospects and careers and education. We would be at more than that because the Hispanics have no problem popping babies out like popcorn. Okay, they are continuing to have their babies because they got the set asides in us and our taxes to help take care of them. While they, like I said, they rob us of resources, which makes it financially hard for us to have children. I've got one and that's expensive.
Yeah, buddy.
I'd have definitely had more. Okay, I love our children. They're some of the most beautiful, brilliant minds in the world. The ADOS children, because they come from our ilk. And we've got the ancestors' DNA running through our veins. That's how we've survived it this long. But abortion is not a friend. And they drop that in our communities to keep us aborting because they cannot produce at the rates that we can. So yeah, don't give us abortion clinics. Run me my check. Run me my check, run my family their checks. That's how we become whole and can now go back to producing families like we once did. I'll be able to pay for my kid. I'll be able to pay for my kid. I don't have to choose between me eating or my child eating.
Right, exactly.
Because Black women are not going to have these babies and not be able to feed them. It's mighty funny how the Republicans are pro-life, but once the life is here, they don't give a damn.
Yep.
They'll rob from that mouth the way they robbed our mouths. Maya says, we have to be able to afford our babies. You are right. Ain't nothing worse than having these babies and not be able to feed them. Ask the mothers who have committed, well, you can't because they're deceased, but those who have attempted suicide, those who suffer from severe depression. Cynthia, you know all about that in mental health. The stress kills us.
Yes, it does.
Trying to keep our babies happy, trying to give them an American life out of 15 cents.
No,
yep.
Man. Can I tell a quick?
She is determined to make this show 3 hours, y'all. No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna tell anyway. So anyway, check this out. I was talking to my doctor today. I'm very fortunate that where I work is also where my doctor is. So I literally can contact him anytime I want, And I was talking to him about my blood pressure. And I said, hey, I came off my blood pressure for a while because my blood pressure was so good for a minute. So I didn't have to take any medication. I was like, huzzah, right? But the moment that I started experiencing a lot of stress, my blood pressure just went through the roof. And I didn't do really much of anything different as far as like my eating or anything like that. I just know that I had surgery, like I told you previously, a few months ago. And then I was kind of down for a while, but my blood pressure was still even killed. But even in the midst of that, I experienced a lot of outside stressors and work stressors and movement stressors, right?
Yes.
And my blood pressure just went out of whack, right? So I ended up, having to go back on medication. And then I said, you know what? After I had one event that just happened that just went I just can't take it no more. I left. That's why I said I ran away. And I kind of went basically to an Airbnb for like 2 weeks, right? Just to kind of get my head together.
Yes.
And then, when I came back home, then my blood pressure actually evened out
Well, this is why I love living in SoCal.
Mhm.
You know, being surrounded by so much beauty and this nature. That's the way I decompress every morning or every moment I get an opportunity to get out there. I try to get out there every day. You must find a way to create what you ran off to for 2 weeks in your own
Yeah.
environment. You must
Yeah.
find a way. You must fight for your peace of mind so
Mhm.
that your pressure doesn't go through the roof, so that you don't get all of these health maladies are stress related and stress induced.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And that's when that let me know, like, this ain't food, this ain't grease, this ain't none of that, because I'm vegan.
Right.
So a lot of this has to do with just stress itself.
Yeah.
And I think that NPR even did like um a whole like a podcast maybe like a few months ago about cracking on the inside. You know how we saw always like love to say like black don't crack, but we crack on the inside
Yes, we
because of
do.
all the stress that we endure as a people.
Yep. Spoke to a brother today, looks like a pillar of health.
Mm.
And he had a heart attack. He's what, 54? Stress. So, family, do everything you can in your power to preserve your body temple. And most of it's tied to your spiritual practice or a lack thereof. When I'm feeling out of whack, I know that I've got to go and meditate a little bit more and sit in the silence and be still and decompress and turn away from the news, whether it's on social media or mainstream.
Yeah,
You must do everything you can to preserve yourself.
Right, because like I mean, you already know this. Like I'm atheist, but I'm also a practicing Buddhist.
Right. So you know meditation.
So I meditate, I chant, I love to chant. Chanting actually really helps me with my anxiety. So like oftentimes when I feel very overwhelmed, I'm like, nope, everything turns off.
Yep.
Candles on.
There it is. But that's a spiritual practice.
Time to get together. Yeah, time to get it together. Yeah.
It may not be Christian, but it's a spiritual practice. Whatever that is that gets you back to one.
Right.
With the one. You you are the one. Okay, let me help you understand that. You are the one. And I remind you of that at the end of every show. That you are the God you're seeking. Okay. But the bottom line is you have to take care of this temple so it doesn't betray you. You must do it. And it's that mind is everything. Mind, body, spirit have got to be aligned to endure the stressors on the ADOS. I want every one of us to make it. So please, self first. When it feels like too much, sometimes I have to reschedule the show because it can be too much.
Yeah.
Let me get through these comments. Exactly true. Tiffany says better medical care for ADOS is needed. Tiffany says miscarriages are classified as abortions. Inviable pregnancy that needs a DNC is called an abortion. If we had the best basic care and didn't live in food deserts, we could have healthier pregnancies. Absolutely, sis.
I totally agree.
Oh my God, the way they weaponized everything against us. Jay Bird talked about the Cubans. They're white. Most of these Latinx communities identify as white.
Over 90%.
Over 90% identify as white. So when they're marking that on the census, it helps white folks. As they flatten blackness, make the Black immigrants more cohesive and whole than us in terms of income and wealth dispositions, while we get ignored, the 90% of the Blacks that are here. It's all a game, family. You must fill in ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, spell it out. The census is coming to a close on September 30th. You can do it online. Please get that in. We need all ADOS on board for that to get resources channeled to our communities. YVOC Info, thank you for joining the live. Whites put ADOS and Black immigrants in one category too. Oh yeah, that's the problem. And that's why we put a gate up around American Descendants of Slavery. That's your new and final destination through the check and beyond. That ADOS is tied to your justice claim. That gives you that distinction. Keyword anger. Hold on one second. I jumped, Lord. I'm almost there, family. It's just getting too good. I'm sorry. I gotta read everyone. Y'all can tune out, if y'all get tired. Are y'all tired yet? No. Are y'all ready to quit? No. The roof. It's on fire. We don't need no water. Let the ADOS below. Let the Democrats burn. I don't know. I'm just
We'll
making.
work on the chat later.
We'll work on that later. We ain't got time for all this playing around. These folks is ready to get off of here. But y'all think y'all gonna miss something. I know how it is. That's the way I am. Will she just hurry up and get finished? Because when she finished, I can tune out. I can't miss nothing. Y'all worse than kids. I can't miss nothing funny she about to say. Like, she is crazy. Let's see here. Here we go. Keyword wages. Truth. Jaber says he lived in Ethiopia for 2 years. Watch. Wyvok says Ethiopian immigrants get economic incentives for starting businesses that are denied to ADOS. That's everybody, Wyvok. They got set aside for the immigrants to keep us tethered to the bottom, like we not hip to the tricks. Yeah. While they deny us reparations, they spread it about and they want to give us 40 billion privatized dollars to be taken back from white folks to give with the left and take with the right. We hip. That's why we're going to do these edits. Kunta, they replaced ADOS on the chicken plants and all the farms. And all, seriously, they shut us out of business, out of farming, out of all of it to make white folks whole in those areas. I agree. Donna Damali says abortion is being used as a form of selective genocide for our community. Absolutely. Maya Fowler, you are Jewel Dropper. Oh, this is your daughter's YouTube. Well, then I guess you know Jewel Dropper. Hello, Jewel. Jay Bird, remember your census? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Drex says we need to send a message that ADOS is here to stay. Vote Green Party for president and vote Democratic down ballot. That's Green Party for president and vice president. And like I said, it's to protect our ballot. We have not vetted the Green Party. It's not that kind of party. That's a whole nother down the road, kind of situation where we'll see if that's a home for us. This ain't that. This is about disrupting an entire election cycle and locking down government so that we can replace Congress in 2 years. That's the strategy, family. We need one, and we need to weaponize our vote. That's the only commodity we've got. Okay, I'm not for opening the borders. We need to take care of ADOS first before we let anyone else in. Donna Damali is absolutely right. Cheap labor is what capitalists needs, Donna says. Absolutely. Beautiful words. Maya Fowler, my white Jewel, my white neighborhood got all kids of ish, got all kinds of ish for the citizens. Beautiful, but I can barely afford it. Yeah, this is what happens when we put our children in the white institutions too. They can't afford to be as American as them white kids. They there by the hair of their chinny chin chins. When the schools close down, they got to go back to the hood. They can't luxuriate in the slopes nowhere. Okay. Hassan Howell, welcome to the live. This is one of the brainiacs we want on those rewrites. I don't even know if she's still in here. Y'all know it's very late, East Coast. She might have jumped off. Green Party, top of the ticket, dim down ballot the rest of the way. Let's gridlock the system. Yay, family. Maya, on-the-job training works all day, every day. Yeah. They allow them to on-the-job train. And now Trump and Ivanka have come up with a condition to allow the white uneducated to get experience as a criteria for getting employment. Not the ADOS. Where we going to get experience from with no social capital, with no businesses? Most of our businesses are sole proprietor.
Right.
That part. We want reparations, free education, free healthcare. Absolutely, Trey X ADOS. Visit ADOS101.com to find out all the other goodies we are insisting and demanding of the government. I just need some, Maya says, Jewel Dropper says, I just need some money for some widgets. Okay, my sister, I think you've been sending me some text on some gorgeous jewelry. You need to let us know where you're selling that jewelry, sis. You never told me. And we can spread that word and get folks patronizing your amazing business if that's your jewelry that you're creating. Donald Damali, from my experience, sometimes black cops are worse than white cops. Their color is blue. Big time. Big time. Having black cops in your neighborhood is not necessarily a bonus unless the community vets them and knows them. Right. And seriously, I mean, folks that live in the neighborhood need to vet everybody. Because I don't see many black cops standing up for when they are executing us, you know, by government sanction. I don't see a lot of black cops coming to our aid. They may stand by and watch, but I don't even see them ratting them out because they got price to pay when they do that. They'll make life miserable for the ones that rat them out. So it's tough. We need our own that live amongst us, that know us. Okay. To be in charge of keeping the community safe. But greater than all of that, we don't need no more abortion clinics. We don't need no more cops. We need education, jobs, healthcare, businesses, and homes. You get those 5 things, you do away with black on black crimes and murders. Done. Because we had those things when affirmative action was serving us. And we didn't have black on black crimes and murders as disproportionate as it's become. You got to give ADOS a reason to live and stop blaming them for their choices that are born out of institutional systemic racism. That's the thing I hate the most, that folks want to blame ADOS as if, you know, you're pretty much dog whistling to white supremacists, that it's okay for them to come to our communities to execute us because we're doing it to each other. Everything requires context, family. Everything has something back of why we got here. So don't you dare blame ADOS for what's happening in their communities. Yeah. The government made them poor, made them targets, made them turn on each other. And that's no different than when before the Irish became white. All these white mobs and murders and all kind of manner of thing. Before they were made white and given resources, our resources, as Europeans, they got access to all of our stuff. Cynthia just shared with you about the Homestead Act. 93 million benefited
to that program.
Yeah. Okay. Which is why slavery didn't happen the way we were taught. No, slavery didn't. Hold on. Right? Okay. Yeah, which is why slavery didn't happen the way we were taught. Yeah, we've been miseducated. Donna says Harris is the top cop. Yes, sweetheart. She's asking a question. She was a prosecutor out here. Okay. And she is responsible for imprisoning, of course, as a prosecutor, that's her job, which makes her ill-equipped, as well as Joe Biden, to be the president and the VP of this country. Who wants oppressors in charge of the country? Okay, y'all want to talk about Trump? Nobody can tell me what he's done more egregious than create laws to lock up 1 million black men in a new slavery. Someone cited 2 million of us. I don't know. All I know is that there's slavery in private prisons. And you guys think it's okay to run out and vote for this? More oppression because that's worse than Trump? Nobody can tell me anything other than he's racist and mean. Well, the Democrats are racist, even black white supremacists on that side. What did Obama do for you for 8 years?
Right. Benign neglect.
Okay. Maya says, Jewel says, sue them all. Ivanka and Jared already pre-selected. For what, sis? Uh-oh. You need to unpack that. I don't know what you're talking about, Ivanka and Jared. Oh, my God. That's abysmal. Jared owns a building in New York. And the numbers on that building is 666. Look it up. Y'all need to watch that Netflix special about Jared Trump. He is a beast the way he ran through and collected all the real estate in Manhattan to oppress the poor that were living in those buildings. He's a beast, just like the 666, the mark on his buildings. Trust and believe. Netflix. I can't recall the name of that movie, that documentary, but it's a whole series. Something about money. You can also find the Wells Fargo where the immigrants were outing what the upper level management was influencing them to do to rob the customers. I think opened up 2 million fake accounts and then 5,300 of them were fired.
It's called Jared Kushner. The Netflix show is called Dirty Money.
Dirty Money also has the Wells Fargo piece in there. Dirty Money. I'm writing it in here. Y'all got to go see about that beast. Dirty Money, Netflix. I'm typing in the chat. Y'all got to check them, and Wells Fargo are the two I need y'all to focus on. We may have to do a show and talk through the points of that show. It is horrific what these folks do in the name of money and how crushingly oppressive it is to ADOS. Okay, so Donna says 465,200 Black inmates in state or federal prisons. Okay, I don't know about that number. I think it's closer to 1 million, but let me know where you got that information, sis. Donna?
Yeah, I would check that source because I thought that we were close to 1 million Black men.
1 million Black men. And she's talking about Black inmates collectively. That don't sound right. That sounds very low, fam. Donna Michele, okay. Erie Blackfire, love you. I love you, Black. Love you, Jay Bird. All the love. Okay, Asan. Hey, fam, Green Party or blank, top of the ticket, dim down ballot. The rest of the way, we're going to gridlock and shut the system down. It's the only way, family. Talk later, Jay Bird. Thank you for joining the live. Gridlock this ish. Make them feel it. Absolutely. Okay, fix HR 40. We went over that. Okay. I think that's it finally. Oh, here we go. The red pillow or the red pill or the blue pill. Both are poison. There it is. Erie Blackfire. Good show tonight, I think he said. Dr. Dirty Edits. Okay. Hold on one second. Good night. Broadcast keeps freezing. And blessings to you, York 2700. I tweeted Governor Newsom. Thank you, Donna Damali. Stress will kill. Meditate daily. Yes, my love. Yes, they are grooming him for POTUS. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Were they grooming for POTUS?
Jared, Ivanka's husband. You guys have got to watch that movie because we have got to shut that all the way down. That is Armageddon under Jared. Can't stop, won't stop. That's right, Donna. Okay, my loves. I've detained you for close to 3 hours. I'm all talked out. I want to thank my surprise co-host, Cynthia McDonald, ADOS Chicago, and the 13%. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning and Monday. You can find her on YouTube and Facebook. Also, I want to thank my co-hosts in the chat. You guys are just rich to me, and I'm so grateful for the exchange. Soon, I'm going to be able to take your calls like I took Cynthia. I just need to find a private line, a separate phone so I can have you guys call in. With that said, family, I want to just put a covering over you the way I generally do. Yeah, I love y'all Black and strong. You know that. But before we go, I need to remind you that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until Sunday, family, at 6 o'clock, where I'll have to catch you up with 4 dead presidents, you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and weekend, and you go out here in this world and act like you know who you are. I love you, Black. I love you, strong. Peace, family. Ciao for now.
Hey, Sam.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be in touch about the edit.